Hello and welcome to Drunk Tolk, the Lord of the Rings drunken podcast, bit of a book club, bit of a can session. I'm your host Ross and I'm joined by the lads. Lads, how are you?
Well, Ross,
how are we now?
How are you, lads?
Good stuff. They have a full house tonight. So I'll just go around as I see them. Firstly, it's the General himself, Owen Duffy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm tops here. Delighted now to be back on the cans. Not as drunk as last time though.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to be a bit more, I suppose, professional.
Are you keeping safe from what's going on up in the Belfast there?
Yeah. Well, listen, when the police aren't chasing me, I'm filming this podcast from an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
go for it.
And I see who's there beside you is Oisín, little brother. How are you?
Well, Ross, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah. All good. And listen, how's your week since last I seen you?
Good. Busy with my PhD. Doing plenty of work. I think
Drop that in every episode.
5,000 words this week, which is good. That's a lot.
5,000 words. I don't think I've ever written that in my life.
That's like a full thesis in just a week.
Yeah, no, that's what I feel like. That's why I want to brag, like. I want to say I did something the past week, as opposed to most times I scratch my arse.
Is it all just like no play, no Lord of the Rings, make Oisín go something?
Yeah, and that's why Friday night then is beer and Lord of the Rings and it's
Very good. And we haven't got Bull today because it's his birthday. Bull, just know that we love you. And I'm sure you're listening in. So we've got special guest Deggy on Deggy!
Whoa! Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
We wouldn't have anyone else as replacement to who we can't actually have.
we wouldn't have anybody else if Bull wasn't available. Oh, you're a sweet talker, Ross. You're a sweet talker.
Oh, listen, Deggy.
Say all the right things.
Did you do your homework?
I did. This is a very good chapter. A lot of meat on the bones here, Ross.
Good
a lot
read.
of meat. She's a juicy boy.
Read.
She's a juicy boy,
read.
this chapter.
Oh, it's very
excited
juicy.
to get into it.
Very juicy. Now, I'll work my way backwards there, Deggy. What are you drinking?
Listen, because it was Bull's birthday, I only got the call short notice. I want the people to know that. So I'm actually drinking a fairly basic bitch Carlsberg Pilsner.
Rotten.
Was that just in the bottom of the fridge somewhere, was it?
It's a solid drink, guys. It's a solid drink. I'm not averse to a Carlsberg every now and again. You know?
No, I couldn't drink Carlsberg.
Yeah, I don't like Carlsberg.
Fair play to you, rather you than me, Deggy. And Oisín, what are you drinking now? What's tonight's pipple or whatever you say?
Tipple.
Alright, what did I say?
The tipple. You said pipple.
Because Bull's not here, I'm not going to abuse him, but he does give me a bit of shade for drinking some shitty beers and just going for the cheap stuff.
Oh wait, are you still on your Central European kind of journey there, are you?
I was, yeah, but then I seen something that has caught my eye and it was like 3 for $6. This
I can't say no.
Fox's Lager?
Fox's
Rock Lager?
Fox, like from Fox Rock in Dublin.
I actually have no idea where it's from.
Is that in Dublin?
No, it's a handcrafted Irish
Yeah, it's in
ale.
Dublin.
But I don't know where it's from. But I got a lager, I got a pale ale, and I got a red ale as well. 3 of them for $6.
Oh, fancy boy.
Something different. So, Bull, when you're listening, I branched out. I'm not just having my basic shitty drinks.
I liked your Central European adventure. Didn't last long.
No,
two weeks, I think. Yeah. Well, you got 2 countries out of 27, Oisín, so good stuff.
I'll go back.
Surely. And Owen Duffy, what are you drinking?
I am on Estrella Damm for Barcelona beer. It's a monster of a yoke. It's 660 milliliters, this thing.
What? That's a bottle of wine. That's not...
Yeah, it literally is a bottle of wine. It's massive. And it's got a little tiny little fucking flute on the top.
That's what she said.
And Ross, what are you drinking?
Oh, thank you, Owen. Jesus, I'm just on the bog standard Tyskie here again, lads. Because if it's not broke, and also I'm still on my first can because I was a bit scared last week. I was very drunk, so I'm trying to behave, yourself. And how many of those big bottle of wine beers would you need to drink home?
Probably, I'd say 3 of these, and you'd be on your way anyway. But this is basically This is 2 bottles of normal beer, put in one big fucking fuck off Estrella Damm bottle.
You should sell them. You've a way with words.
It's just what it's called. I'm not Estrella Damm.
Is that Lidl or Aldi beer or something?
No, it's a proper beer. I've been watching the Masters here, and
Oh, nice.
I bought this yesterday, and just an ad randomly popped up on Sky Sports for Estrella Damm beer. I'm like,
Jesus.
meant to be.
Yeah, it works.
Advertising works.
It is working. An ad popped up on Sky Sports.
Sky Sports is way better. So I have a dodgy box, right? we don't get the proper channels and the names. It's like Pro Ev with like Man Red and stuff. So it's Sky Sports, Sky Sports Goose,
Sky Goobies.
Sports. Yeah, Sky Goobies. Yeah, Sky Goobies.
And BP Sport or something.
Oh, later. Anyway, boys, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Unbelievable. We finally got there. Chapter 7, page 123. 1, 2, 3. Fucking madness begins, basically. We're in the house of Tom Bombadil. Who wants to do the 20-second recap?
I'll do it if you want.
No, actually, I want Deg to do it then. Yeah. Deg, go.
You want me to go? Okay, so the boys arrive at Tom Bombadil's house where they're greeted by his, it doesn't say wife, his I'm going to say missus, broader term, Goldberry, who gives them a nice warm welcome and gives them a good hearty supper. And the boys, they just are chilling for a little bit, taking a little bit of a break. The boys are still scarred a little bit from what happened out in the forest, and they get to ask Tom a few questions, get a bit more knowledge on that. There's a few queer dreams go on, maybe a vision into the future, what's actually happening elsewhere with Gandalf, and that's kind of the set out on their way then after that.
I think it's very well put, Deggy. Very well put. I would have
Lovely.
liked if you used the words "the boys" maybe a couple more dozen times. Yeah.
If you don't know who the boys are by now,
Yeah, no, we know who the boys are. Yeah, no, absolutely good stuff. Now, listen, lads, I'm not going to beat around the bush here, right? Deggy's he's done the recap. We know where we are, and from last week, we all have Tom Bombadil blue balls. So let's just dive right in here. What the fuck? Who the fuck is Tom Bombadil? What the fuck is Tom Bombadil? Who wants to go first?
There's so much to go through, Like Tom, what age is the man?
He's the eldest, anyway. We know that much. Well, so he says
He's the
himself.
eldest. Yeah, it's vague as hell.
He's the eldest. He's the oldest thing there is.
Old as fuck. I tell you, do you want to know how I envision Tom Bombadil?
Go on.
I envision him like a magical Bill Oddie.
Is he the boy with the yoke going womba womba womba?
No.
No, that's the Australian guy.
I'm thinking of that Australian bloke.
This is the animal man, is it?
This is the animal man. He's like kind of basically like a budget
This
version.
isn't the RSPCA guy who like 100% is a pedo.
No,
Is he like British Don Conroy?
No, he's basically like
Don Conroy.
an Aldi version of David Attenborough.
I'm thinking of Rolf Harris.
You're thinking of Ralph Harris, yeah. Who is a pedo?
That's who I was thinking of as well.
100%, yeah. Right. So yeah, he looks like Bill Oddie. Oh, Springwatch.
Springwatch, exactly.
Conservationist
But
man.
he wears a yellow. Tom Bombadil wears a yellow jacket and a blue hat.
No, blue jacket, yellow boots.
Oh, right.
Come on, then.
Like, what do you think he is? Like, what's the crack here? Like, what the fuck is he?
Well, it's hard to know. Like, look, without jumping the gun and getting a little bit further into the chapter, there's a moment where
Stuck in.
what the fuck goes on? What's going on? He slips the ring on the little baby finger, and he's still there. What's happening?
Yeah, doesn't go invisible.
What's happening? This one ring that everybody is craving, succumbs to, goes crazy, goes invisible, and he just like, no, like it's a fucking knockoff version of it or something. He just
Get
nothing
that
happens.
yoke in the market.
But he also knows doesn't he know Frodo has it? He's like, show me your little ring a dilly dilly.
Yeah.
Maybe he is your man.
Show me a little ring a dilly dilly. Or isn't that what he says? No, ring a dillo, ring a dilla.
Dillo, yeah.
Ring
Some
a
man
dillo.
for the songs. Jesus, I couldn't stand being in Tom Bombadil's house for long just because. Do you know what it reminds me of being in Tom Bombadil's house? Do you ever go to a house party with people who are semi-musical and they just start playing fucking guitar, and they just go shut the fuck up. I hate it.
I take my chances with old Man Willow. I take my chances with
Oh, so would I. Yeah, I'd be like, here, take me now.
So just like Tom's walking around his gaff just singing Wonderwall all day. Like, no.
But like, he doesn't even sing Wonderwall. He just sings. He sings his own name. He just like with the Tom Bombadil.
I tell you what, right? If Tom Bombadil was to operate in normal society, the man would be sectioned within a week. He'd be sectioned within a week.
He's a lunatic.
It sounded like he was going round the house, like smashing pots and pans together or something. Like they were like just making a racket upstairs. Like, what is he doing?
You could hear Tom in the room next door clattering around the place, like
just
singing.
He literally is mental.
Name. Just banging doors. Tom Bombadil.
and you know what?
What the fuck?
Goldberry is a feeder for that as well. She's like, she's a very good hype man. She's a very good hype man.
Listen, we'll get on to Goldberry in a minute, right? But I do want to circle back to Tom. Like, does anyone have any hot takes? I know we usually keep that till the end, but it's too much, lads, of what Tom actually is. Like, because the ring doesn't affect him. He can speak to trees. Like, Oisin, do you have any?
He's the king of speaking in third person. I don't know if that's...
Well, he certainly is. And he's obviously mates with the elves because, listen, fair play, Gildor got the word out. That's how Tom was on the lookout for the boys.
Yeah, and he's mates with Farmer Maggot. Whether he's good or bad, we don't know.
Yeah, he seems to be... He knows Farmer Maggot as well, doesn't he? Yeah. So
he's very fond of Farmer Maggot.
Which is the other side of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually have a hot take or an idea of like what he actually is other dimensional or something. I don't know even how you'd explain it. He's not like anything else around there. Although he says he's master of wood, water, and hill. Does that mean there's masters out there of other things? Like, and this is his domain. And then, like, if you go up into the mountains, there's a John Bombadillo up there or something.
John Bombadil.
Well, I don't know about that, Oisin, in fairness. That's a good take. But what's the name of that eagle boy, the king of the eagles? He's master of the wind, isn't he? Isn't that what his...
Oh, is that what his title is?
I'm almost certain in The Hobbit he might be called Master of Skies or something. I could be making that up, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
That's all I could think, that there's other...
John Bombadillo is the master of coal in the mountains.
I don't know.
So like
hot take as I can make it.
Somewhere down like in the deep south, there's like a Philomena Bombadillo who's the master of Saturn or something.
I think he could be an ent with a human deformity.
Right.
Let's hear it.
Like, go on. Like, so. What do you mean? Like, so, like, it'd be like if a human baby was born a tree. But
yes, exactly. Do you ever see those, like, Channel 5 documentaries when that was a thing?
I love them.
I was like, the tree
man. No!
Yeah. I was actually thinking that exact thing when you said that. I've seen that one.
Yeah, so there you go. But except, like, Channel 5 are going to do a documentary on Tom Bombadil, but, like, it's going to be trees watching and going, what the fuck happened here, It's some sort of human deformity he have, and that's my hot take on it.
My hot take was very close to yours, Deggy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I actually happen to believe that Tom Bombadil is an Entwife.
An Entwife? Right. Go on.
Because they don't exist anymore.
Oh no, what should they do? They're just lost. Treebeard asked the boys, "Have you seen the Entwives? We lost them." And the boys are like, "Oh, they died." And they're like, "No, we lost them. Have you seen them?"
I'm generally asking you.
Yeah. Like, we just can't find them. Like, we can't procreate. The wives are gone, right? So I think Tom Bombadil is an Entwife because Treebeard doesn't know what the hobbits are. He's never heard of a hobbit. So, like they said, they searched far and wide for the Entwives. They obviously didn't search the Shire.
No, they didn't go that
True.
far.
Right?
That's a good
right?
And the old forest is in the Shire.
Exactly. And Treebeard calls Gandalf young Master Gandalf. Even though Gandalf's definitely older than him, obviously Ents have a mad fucking concept of their own lifespan if they think they're older than Gandalf when they're clearly not, like, because he's as old as time. So, like, Tom Bombadil could just be like Treebeard and think he's older than he is. And I don't know, like, do trees, like, really have sexes? I know you'll say a female plant and a male plant, but they all look the fucking same to me. Who's to say he's not an Entwife? That's my hot take anyways.
So it's kind of mixing with Deggy's point that he's in human form, but he's still an Entwife.
Maybe all Entwives look like that though.
Like
Who are we
a
to say?
fat man with a beard.
Because he
Don't
seems
end
to
shame
he
him.
gardens the place, right? So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can talk to the tree and he can make it calm down, and he's like in charge of the master of the forest, not unlike an ant, you know. Or maybe the one difference between the Entwives and the Entmen's or husbands or whatever they are is just that one looks like a dude and one looks like a tree.
Dude looks like a lady.
Well, yeah.
That's my hot take, because apparently dwarf women have beards in this universe.
Yeah.
Why not
And we've
tree?
never got to see what Entwives look like either, so
Or did
you
we?
can't rule it out. You can't rule it out.
That's my hot take. What's your hot take on?
It's not really a hot take, more so than it's just kind of me thinking of what he is. And Ocean was kind of right to an extent that I think he is like otherworldly, as in, you know, Maiar, the same kind of.
Like Gandalf.
Yeah, Gandalf. What were the other race? Like Morgoth and stuff like that. What were
He
they?
was above that. Yeah, it's like
I forget. I don't know.
what are
Something.
like an Istari? Is it? No, that's the race of wizards. It's like yeah. There is one level above Maiar before you get to Iluvatar, who's God.
Yeah,
There's like 5 of them or something. Morgoth was one, but he got killed. He got got.
yeah. But even Tom said that he was
R.I.P.
around before Morgoth, because he said I was around before even the first Dark Lord, or so he said something along those lines. So he's literally
Yeah, but he's also insane.
Consider-
He might
Yeah,
just
yeah.
think that, yeah. He
Yeah,
might
in
think
his
that.
own
he
opinion,
could
he's
just be a bloke who can talk to trees. But then I suppose he couldn't put the ring on.
I was watching, this has nothing to do with this, but you ever hear the show American Pickers? And there was a lad on that show who claimed to be 300 years old and that he was an alien from the planet like Blurgon or something. He's like, I'm 300 years old. I came here and you're 333 or something. And I used, you might just be one of them, you know.
yeah.
All right, Tom, you're as old as the hills. Well done.
I've two proper hot takes. Well, one is a hot take about Goldberry, just a stupid one, like a tepid take more so than anything. And then the hot take is of what Tom and Goldberry are together.
Right, let's move on to Goldberry very quickly then, right? And then we can go back and circle back. So, Goldberry, I have a hot take on Goldberry as well. But Goldberry's essentially, I mean, yeah, you're right, Deggy. They don't use the word wife, but she's his hype man at the very least.
Oh, absolutely.
And a great one.
The Eddie Hearn of the Tom Bombadil house.
Yeah, she is like the
Get them deals.
Flavor Flav of the old forest. That's how she looks in my head. Anyway. She's wearing a big clock, and she's just like,
Somebody's pissing on the floor. Yeah, or shitting on the floor.
yeah.
Oh,
Fuck's sake. Goldberry, I think is even more mysterious because she doesn't put on the ring, right? We don't know if it affects her or not. The
She's
boys
hardly
don't
with
even.
them.
The boys are all like, "Oh, what's Tom? Who's Tom?" They're not. They don't even question who the fuck is Goldberry. Who the fuck are you?
River Lady.
River Lady, daughter of leaves or some fucking bullshit. And she just she just cleans up the house
Yeah, she's just
Yeah.
and
does
sings
the job.
songs.
Yeah.
And looks good when she does it.
Yeah, it looks good too.
Well, according to Frodo, she looks good.
Well, no, all the boys are sitting around just getting a bit excited watching her clean up the plates or something. It's a bit creepy.
A bit
like,
too excited.
Well, I can't remember what the word was. Like, her slender grace filled them with delight. I was like, what?
Filled what with the light?
4 lads sitting around watching her clean tables.
Yeah, but you're like, she opens the door and Frodo straight away is like, "Who are you?"
And sings her a song.
He sings her a song and she's like, "Oh, I know the elves like you."
Yeah.
Strange.
It was like Frodo was nearly having an out of body experience. He was doing stuff that he didn't even want to do. He was just shocked that he did it. Like, oh, slender woman up the forest, the lady did.
He's a dog. He's a
He
dirty
is.
dog.
He's a dog. He's a dirty
And
dog.
he's the first to always mention it or get in there with get his foot in the door before anyone else. Like,
Yep. I think we need to
That's right.
revisit our Farmer Maggot beat up Frodo theory for Frodo playing around with Maggot's wife. Because, I mean, if this is the way it carries on,
yeah.
But your man, Tom, said he was like pen pals with Farmer Maggot, so surely he'd know Frodo's like Frodo's
pen
deal.
pal, like, who delivers his post? Like, what does that mean? Like,
I don't know. He's
what the fuck is he doing? Oh, he's the craziest fucking character. Like Goldberry, all right. Oh, come on. What's your tepid take? Is it on who Goldberry is?
It was just something a bit silly, but like Tom found her when she was only a child, sitting in the reeds singing, and I'm just like, sounds like something like a mermaid to me. You know, mermaids sing, they're in the water. They call her river daughter and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
potential, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I came up with an idea of like what is the deal, what's going on between them. That Goldberry is some sort of prisoner under Tom's watch, like.
Or under his spell.
A bit of a tangled type situation.
Yeah, that he has kept her in the house. He found her as a kid, like Owen said, and brought her back. And it's something to do with these lilies that he keeps collecting that keeps her from leaving him.
He talks about lilies a lot. He's like, don't touch me lilies.
When the boys find them, he's going down carrying a plate of them, like down the road.
Yeah. Don't touch me lilies.
So I think that she's somehow like his prisoner or under his control, and that's why she does all the jobs for him.
So she's like a lily addict, and he just keeps, feeding her addiction, and she just won't
And
leave the
she's
app.
going around singing, being all mopey, singing and shit.
She's hooked on lilies.
She's high off her kite on lilies, and that's why she's...
lilies, yeah.
Her just strung out in the corner there. Half lilies.
I've had 4 lilies today.
I was thinking that it was much more happenstance that like her parents or her dad or something were going through the woods and they were from Bree, and then old man Willow ate them, as we know he likes to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And she was too stupid to realise what's going on because she was only an old baby. And then Tom just found her and was like, "Oh, that's for me. That's a wee baby." And like they never say that they're like riding or anything like that. They just lived in that house. So I think he just raised her as like his wee little daughter. He's like, someone needs to clean me gaff, like.
He's not going to do it.
I'm too busy banging pots off the wall. I think she's human. That's what I think. That's my tepid take on Goldberry. Then you want to come in on this?
Look, yeah, well, you kind of said all. He's sounding more like Ralph Harris as we go on, really, isn't he? Apart from the okay. What you call it? Yeah, I think it's a very humble living for the, daughter of the river to be just like cleaning up after some mad fella who goes around singing his own name the whole time. She seems capable of greater things, Put her on the big stage, but Tom has her all locked up there. So I didn't think there was anything sinister behind it until Oisin brought up that. But now you're starting to sway me there, Ush. That's a hot take. That is certainly a hot take.
I'm a big fan of both of them because they're both very possible.
Yeah. I just always thought that they were like just from the way I read it, I thought that there was a romantic link there, but maybe there's not. Maybe it's more down the line of what Ross is thinking.
I think about anything enough. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking I had a little hot take as well about the both of them, and that given that Tolkien was quite religious as well, and the fact that Tom Bombadil said he was around before anyone else, before the rivers and the trees, all that shite, that they're like the Middle Earth version of Adam and Eve, and that the lilies are like the forbidden fruit. Like, don't touch me lilies, no one's allowed to touch them, and that they were like the first to be ever around. I know, Adam and Eve's a bit different, and Tom found Goldberry. Look,
never know.
Stranger things have happened.
That is good gear. Good gear. Like that. Don't agree with second because he's an ent. We've been over that. But that's good gear.
Just a few hot tepid takes before we get going.
Tom's also a dick. Like he's going around singing in the mornings, waking everyone up. Like he said, he was standing outside Goldberry's window singing to wake her up. Like I'd be raging if some fellow was outside the window hollering in the morning. Like not again.
Agreed.
And he's probably out there singing his own name as well.
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil. It's 4:00 in the morning.
And like, as much as he sings, he's not very good at rhyming or anything like that. It's just it's all nonsense that he's singing.
Gibberish.
Like, if he threw in a bit of a rhyme in there, it'd be a bit more pleasing to the ears, but he just actually doesn't. He just talks muck, but in song form.
Well, I thought the two of them are mad interesting and mad creepy a little bit the more you think about them, but they also don't really fit, like in any way, especially him putting on the ring bit and it not affecting him, not turning him invisible, him not wanting it. He was just like,
and then him being able to see Frodo as well.
Yeah.
When Frodo puts it on, he's just like, "Here, where are you going? Come back here. I have more to tell you."
And it was Owen who texted me during the week who really realised this first. And this is the first time Frodo puts on the ring.
Yeah,
big moment.
He does it because Tom put it on. Tom goaded him into it.
Yeah, basically. He wanted to make sure that he got the actual ring back, that he didn't play some sort of trick on him. And like the The old quick switcheroo.
Like, I think there could have been a better way around that, personally, but, like,
Chucking the fire, maybe, like.
Yeah, just put it on a candle. There was loads of candles around, wasn't there? Just tip it on the candle and you're away. But no, he sticks it on his finger and...
Frodo let it.
And Bombadil just looks him straight in the eye.
Yeah.
Take that off.
Get back here.
Yeah.
That's another...
Because
another
who was it? Is it
fascinating
Mary?
thing,
Is
like-
it Pippin? Who's just like, where the fuck's he gone?
Yeah,
So, like, does that mean that, like, Tom is also, like,
Can see.
alive in the other dimension? So he's, like... Yeah, like, they ask fucking Goldberry, who is Tom? And she just says, he is. And, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck kind of answer is that?
Oh, right.
So, like-
Thanks for the lip, Goldberry.
Yeah. But you're sexy, so you get away with it, right?
You won't get away with that in school.
Well, apparently, according to the hobbits, if you were as good looking as her, you probably would get away with
Oh,
it.
you get away with a
You're
lot.
just like, oh, Goldberry. Oh, you.
And in fairness, she put on a good spread. They were nothing but getting fed. It was raining for a few days, so they had to stay, or at least that was their excuse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sorry, Gandalf, yeah, we have to go out and travel to save the world, but when it's raining, like, we're staying inside, like,
Yeah.
like, how did they just say, like, oh, no, I can't leave, it's raining? Like, how little does it rain in this fucking place?
Hobbits are just
It's mad.
soft.
So what the supper that they had, I think Ross wants to talk about some of the aspects of this supper.
Well, none of it makes sense. Absolutely none of it makes sense.
Right, so we'll try and make sense of it now. But what they had was, the first thing that kind of stood out to me was they had yellow cream.
The fuck is yellow cream?
Yeah, gone off cream, that's what it is. Ugh.
Sounds
They
ra-
had honeycomb, white bread, butter, milk, cheese, green herbs, and ripe berries. That was their supper.
a lot of dairy
Sounds
there,
good.
lads.
Be farting all night. Imagine the smell in that room. Four
Yeah.
hobbits sleeping in that one room.
Like, what? Where did they get all this cream and cheese and butter? Like, are they out there churning milk? Where are they getting milk?
A hot take would be straight from the teeth of Goldberry. Well, because you
That's
know,
an excellent take.
but they probably do have some sort of goat or a. I think they mentioned somewhere in the chapter. They said in the distance when they were looking at the barrow something.
Barrow Downs.
Barrow Downs. There was sheep across the way or something to do with sheep in the chapter. So maybe there's sheep or
milk.
goats or something that they're.
Oh,
that
they were
they're milking,
talking
but-
about sheep eating the grass on top of the mounds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
That's
Yeah,
what it was.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Do you
that.
reckon
So-
they go out there once a day and just, like, catch sheep? I suppose he's
Sheep
master of
rustling.
the hills. Master of the hills.
Yeah.
You can't get away from.
He can do what he wants. Who knows? Like, he could just fucking snap his fingers and then there's a fucking jar of milk. But I'm going to go back to whose hot take was it when they said that Goldberry was like captive or.
I said that.
But she says a few times that, like, she keeps saying to the hobbits, don't worry, and no one can get in the house, basically.
Oh yeah, everything that's outside is outside. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
So maybe it's the same with inside. Like, if Tom chooses for you to be inside, you're not getting out. And it's the same if anyone's outside and Tom chooses, you're not getting in.
I remember that, and I was like, why is she so worried about coming in the door? Like this old Man Willow character, is that all they're talking about, or is there something else out there?
I'd say Gildor told them the Black Riders are on their tail, so there's going to be something.
And they're very close to the Barrow Downs as well, which is full of ghosts, isn't it?
Ghosts and stuff.
That's another thing that I can't wait to talk about next chapter. But
Yeah, it's filled with ghosts. Like, what the fuck is that about? Like, yeah, and sheep.
sheep and goat. Sheep, are you saying ghosts or goats?
Ghost. A little ghosty.
Ghost.
Goats?
Little ghosty. Little Patrick Swayze. Little ghosty.
Doing pottery on the Barrow Downs.
And what about them? We'll talk about what they talk about. So Tom sits them down for 2 straight days, right? And bewitches them, basically.
Yeah.
To tell them these old stories about, like, I don't know, like, I mean, do we want to dissect these? The shite he's talking about?
Well, he knows all about them, first off. He knows who they are. He knows their families. He
Is
knows...
that from Gildor, do you think?
Could be.
Could be. Because Gildor, obviously, he knew Bilbo, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure. And he probably talked about, like, oh, like, who are you? Because he drugged them, remember? And he's like, oh, I'm Samwise Gamgee.
yeah.
I'm a dog. Oh, of course. Okay, come on.
Yeah, that's why you don't...
I'm Pippin. I'm Peregrine Took. I'm from you. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, and then he goes on about other stuff. What are the other ones? The other ones are like about the Barrow Dwights and where they come from. Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Something mad like that, yeah. And then he talks about like the old times before, like, what did he say? When only the elf sires were awake.
It was a bit confusing to even read because I'm like, what was he talking about?
Yeah, unless you know the history, like, unless you've read the other stuff to understand what that history is. I was like, all right, Tom, you fucking loser.
Fucking lunatic.
Stop trying to like act Bertie Big Bollocks here. I've been like, oh, I know everything and I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
I came across a bit like that. Yeah, but the boys were entranced. They all loved listening to it. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't listen to someone for 2 days. Don't know about you.
Yeah.
No, it would have to be a very good story.
And what do you think drove him into the forest? For a man who knows so much and seen so much, what do you think made him just settle, you know, in the forest? They were kind of reclusive life, you know? Just you know, for a man could be so powerful, master of wood and water and everything, and he just decides to fuck off into the middle of nowhere and, you know, not share his knowledge with people. Like, you know, he's just sick of the word shite, is he? You know?
Yeah. It seems like he just absolutely doesn't give a shit. He seems so powerful, but yeah, he's just like, no, I just want to do my own thing and everyone else can fuck off.
Do you know what his most powerful power in my mind was, and it's only briefly mentioned, and it'd be just super handy in Ireland. He doesn't get wet. Can't get wet when he's out walking in the rain, somehow. He's just got a magical force field around him.
That is the
for
dream.
rice.
It's the job.
That is class, isn't it?
That's the dream.
Imagine how long your runners would last. Oh, it'd be unreal. It'd be unreal. You'd only ever need to buy one pair, like, you know, for about
How
2
does he
years.
wash?
Oh God, maybe he doesn't.
Down the river. You know, you couldn't do that in Navan. You couldn't do that in Ireland. You get stoned out of
Yeah.
You'd be in big trouble.
Would you stay in Tom Bombadil's house?
No!
If you had the chance.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd be like, take Goldberry by the arm and be like, come on, we're making a break for it. Let's
We
go.
out this. We out
It
this
doesn't
bitch.
seem.
We out this bitch. Like, what that?
It didn't seem like they had a choice. He said he knew they were going to cross his path. All paths lead down to Witty Windle when you're in there. So he knew he was going to come across them. And whether by chance or by plan, he had 4 mattresses set up in this room. Like,
Yeah.
that's a bit of a weird coincidence. Why'd you have 4 mattresses in the room?
Looking for
Yeah.
4 more Goldberries. That's what it was. The pretty bad.
A haram. He's a grape. He's a
So
grape.
maybe you wouldn't want to stay there, but he seems to just get you in there and keep you captive. Bit
It's
of
true. But the hospitality, it's not so bad. Like, there's a beautiful woman walking around and
serving you goat's cheese.
yeah, he has fucking wash basins and he has the mattresses set out and he has slippers. You won't even find slippers in a 5-star hotel beside your bed. And he's 4 sets of slippers for the hobbits.
Where is he getting these slippers? Who is the cobbler? Who is the cobbler in the
What happens
forest?
to them slippers afterwards? Do you think he has other guests and gives them the same slippers? Did he recycle them? Like, it opens up too many questions about when
Yeah,
you start thinking about why is there 4 of everything.
Yeah.
He's an absolute lunatic. I don't even like everything about it. Just doesn't make any sense to me. Looking back, you know, even though I think this might be, you know, one of the most entertaining chapters I've read so far out of what the 7 we've done, I can 100% see why they cut it from the movie.
Why?
Yeah.
Just because it's so mad and out there and then gone again.
Yeah, and the tone doesn't, because, you know, this is just after Frodo makes the jump across the river onto the Brandybuck Ferry.
Yeah.
And then the very next scene in the movie is them, like, knocking on the door, and your man is like, oh, it's a hobbit, and you to go down to the lower door. So, strange
Yeah,
folk
Bree.
come out.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? And it's all very creepy and scary. They go to the pub and see Strider. Imagine that was just cut with 20 minutes of Tom Bombadil banging pots outside their window at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, he's in their room in the morning banging pots and singing and whistling to wake them up as well. Like,
And
waking
for
up
what?
that
There's
thing.
nothing to do.
No, to tell them the weather.
Just to let you know you're staying here for another couple of days, yeah?
Yeah.
This is your life now.
Yeah. And yeah, like, it doesn't even say how long, once he starts telling them all these stories about the past, how long they actually were listening for. They said it could have been a week.
Yeah.
They didn't even notice. They were just so entranced by how and what he was talking about that fucking a couple of days or a week went by without any food or water or anything like that. big fucking shitey pants on them all and still listening away. Look, if they didn't eat in 2 days, they didn't shite either.
That's
Just
true.
saying that.
That's true. Yeah. I'm not a scientist, but that checks out. But his stories are interesting if you're interested in that kind of history of Middle Earth thing, because he gets it a lot right. You know, like, I mean, the elves were woken up in the east and then moved west, unlike the humans who actually were on Numenor, who moved east and then they both met in Middle Earth. And he talks about the bending of the ocean, which I think is probably like when the ocean opened up and sunk Numenor because Sauron did something bad or whatever. So, like, it is interesting. If you read between the lines there, he definitely knows his shit, like. But he could have just read that in the library in Minas Tirith, like.
Yeah. He also seems to know a lot about your man, Old Man Willow, and that he's some sort of jealous old tree who doesn't like people walking around. And like, oh, fuck you with your 2 legs. Prick.
Yeah. Nothing worse than a 2-legged bastard, though, in fairness, like, going by your path, like.
You go walking by you like he's free and you're stuck there. Oh, Old Man Willow's got an evil heart.
When he was talking about Old Man Willow, he explains that Old Man Willow's roots, his roots go so deep that he's able to control the whole forest.
Yeah, that seemed to be... I kind of thought the same thing. That's why they were led towards him. He had control like miles away and was like somehow
So the
bring it
whole
towards.
forest is just Old Man Willow's hands to get a grub. Like.
Could be. And he's just fucking tickling away. You go this way now, you go that way. And it'll flick on the arse to go in the opposite direction.
No wonder he doesn't let Goldberry outside the house.
Jesus, yeah. He's fucking peeping up her.
Did you ever see The Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's scary as shit.
Jesus. And do you reckon the house is comfortable? Like, it's made out of stone. I know that. Which, you know, where's he getting the stone? I don't see a quarry, Tom. I don't see a quarry. But do you reckon it's comfortable? Or, like, is it cozy? Is it wooden floors? Or is it just, like, dirt floors?
I gotta think it's dirt floors, wouldn't you? I don't know. It's the way that they give a feel that it is very comfortable. Like, they all feel super safe there, and you know, it just gives off nice vibes. But when you think of the logistics of the whole thing, you know, you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know, Old Man Willow willing to fucking snap you up in a second. You know.
Yeah.
Who was the construction crew? You know, who was the construction crew? Where did he get the boys from? You know.
Where's the plumbing?
Where's the plumbing? Yeah, where's the plumbing?
Yeah.
These are the questions.
Who did the carpentry? What size are the presses? That's what Bull wants to know.
Did he go chop down a tree? Did he? Oh, you dirty dog!
No wonder Old Man Willow's so angry.
Yeah.
And just there, brazenly showing it off.
Fuck's sake! You never think of that.
I imagined it to be sort of like a tunnel and there's like water dripping down the walls or something. That's what I thought. You know, moss and stuff inside. I didn't know if it'd be that comfy.
I doubt it would be, to be honest.
Comfy enough for a madman and a river woman, like.
Yeah.
Outside the Tom, just parking him for a moment. Something else happens in this chapter that's very interesting, I think. As Frodo has a dream. And the dream, it's not explicit or anything like that. But if you read it right, it is Gandalf atop of Orthanc. It says something like a grey-haired man and grey and then lightning.
No, he says white-haired, yeah.
White-haired, yeah. And that an eagle swoops by and then the man is taken by while wolves and black riders are at the bottom of a tower. Not made by hand, which is Orthanc, as we know. So that's pretty much what happens in the movie, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that bit with the butterfly and he blows in it and it goes.
Yeah.
Weird that Frodo's having like these premonitions or visions or I don't know what you called them. Why has he got like the direct line to Gandalf in his head?
Yeah, what the fuck's going on here? Like,
that's kind of like a thing as well. Like if Tom is a Maiar, like the reason why they're all having these dreams is because Tom's in the house and Tom is linked to Gandalf because he's a Maiar, so it's kind of all filtering through their dreams and the house is all magic and Maiar-y shit, and that's why. But Frodo has these dreams apart from that as well.
Do you know how we know he's not a Maiar though?
Because Sam doesn't have a dream.
No. How Tom? Not Sam. Sam could be a Maiar, but no, he's definitely not. Tom isn't a Maiar because Gandalf would know him then.
Yeah,
they can't hide from each other. Yeah, and Gandalf doesn't have a fucking clue what he is.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it? Like, you know, two very powerful beings, and the two boys are kind of unaware of the capabilities of one another.
There was two bits, like in that sentence, they were. It says like suddenly a shadow like the shape of the great wings passed over the moon. So that's clearly the eagle, and just one of the best lines I made when I read that, I was like looking back over YouTube to see if I could get that scene of Gandalf on Northanc, and it's like nearly exactly how they describe it in the book, like the wings coming across the moon, and it literally the same thing happens in the movie.
Yeah.
And then when Gandalf fucks off on the eagle's back, that's when Saruman's like, "So you've chosen death."
Yeah.
Class line.
What does Gandalf say to him? He's like, there can only be one master of the rings, and he does not share power.
Oh, so good.
He leaps off the fucking Unbelievable.
Powerful stuff.
I think that scene, like, although this chapter isn't in the movies, there is a few kind of callbacks to this chapter. Another one was when Tom is talking about all the old Man Willow in the forest and all that kind of stuff. He mentions that the creatures of Middle Earth were gnawing, biting, breaking, hacking, burning, destroyers, and usurpers.
Yeah.
Which is what Treebeard says to the two hobbits.
Because he's an ant.
Yeah, there you go.
An ant wife. Yeah.
So that's twice where two kind of, memorable quotes from the movie kind of came straight from the book. So it's kind of nice.
Straight
in that
from
sense
the mouth of Tom.
They still, although these 3 chapters are not really involved, there's a few little callbacks to it, which is nice. It's good to see.
Yeah, a few little bits. And there was a Treebeard line the last time as well, wasn't there, that Tom said? It's in the extended editions when the boys are getting swallowed up in the extended edition movies by a tree. And then Treebeard comes in and says, drink water, stop eating hobbit or whatever in the rain.
Yeah.
And Tom says that last time too. So they seem to have put a lot of Treebeard or a lot of Tom Bombadil into Treebeard. I'm looking forward to reading this again, to reading who Treebeard is in the books, as opposed to what he is, because he's not Tom Bombadil, we know that much. Could be his husband though, I suppose.
Yeah. Or the wife.
The wife.
Or Treebeard's.
Didn't come across a sexy little yoke in a blue jacket and yellow boots.
Yeah.
Here, come here to me, you from the Shire there. You haven't seen this. This mad little wet thing walking around. We can't get wet though.
Oh, yeah.
You introduce him to me and I show you him getting wet. Huh? Oh, that can't make post edit. Oh, no. That can't make it. Fuck's sake. Oh, what about the dream? What did you make of it?
The dream was weird. I thought it was weird that the 3 boys have dreams, like Frodo, Merry, Pippin, and then Sam doesn't. Why is he... That's like the second time in consecutive chapters where he's been left out of the weirdness. He didn't get involved with Old Man Willow. He wasn't affected by him, and now he's not having a weird dream. He's just sleeping soundly. Just twice in a row. I'm going to keep an eye out now for how many more times Sam is unaffected by the goings on around him.
He's a man apart. He's like Denzel.
Yeah,
he's a man apart. He's just, he's got his own burdens. He can't be wasting his time with these lads. Like,
No, it seems so.
Tom said something interesting. It was like, I can't control the weather. Weathermen don't go on 2 legs, which straight away made me think, okay, so weathermen go on 4 legs then.
Yeah, what does that even mean? Like, weathermen don't go on 2 legs.
2 legs. So if they must go on more than 2 legs, that's 4. And we've just gone with this team of Sam's a dog, Sam's a weatherman.
Sam is the
Sam's
weatherman.
the weatherman.
That's where I ended up.
Nice and strung together.
Yeah. Well, it will come in very handy as a horticulturist.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Skills.
You'd end up being like that, the X-Men, Storm.
Sam is a sort of Storm character.
The most underutilized character in the history of literature is Storm from X-Men. Just think, it's ridiculous. Just think of the logistics of that. She can control the fucking weather. She could hijack the entire global economy. Hold everyone hostage. I was like, oh, what's that? Argentina, you're giving me lip. Alright, have no rain for a month. See how you get on. It's just ridiculous. Just far more powerful.
Suez Canal now has massive tsunamis every other day. We're fucked now, boys.
Yeah, that's the end of that.
Just freeze all the oceans and the rivers and all the bodies of
Not
water.
even all of it, just one bit. Like 1/4 of it. Like the fucking Straits of Caracas. Oh, no oil for the global economy because there's a foot of fucking snow across the Iranian Gulf. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
You were saying, Ross, is Tom such an odd character, just standing out like a sore thumb?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to fit, with the rest of it. so neatly, you know.
I don't have that great a take on this now. I came up with 2.
Oh wait, so I was going to ask: is there any similar characters in any other kind of media, book, comic book, video game that are like Tom, as in like they just completely break all the rules of that universe, and they stand out, and they just like very quickly before you go in, I was going to say Q in Star Trek completely breaks all them rules. You know, he just goes around dressed like a Shakespearean character and teleporting spaceships around the place. It's ridiculous. So did you have any, Ocean?
I have one where he just doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie, and every time he comes on screen, you're just a bit creeped out. Do you remember Slugworth in Willy Wonka? Do you remember, you know, like the Gene Wilder one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this like creepy old guy who just every time someone wins a golden ticket, he shows up. Yeah, he's there. Like, you're just like, what is that creature? Why is he on the screen? Like, you know, it's a happy little go-lucky film. Obviously, Gene Wilder's a bit moon in it, but that guy just always stood out to me as just, you shouldn't be here. You're too
Very
weird.
creepy. Very creepy.
And what was your other one?
The other one is more just for humankind. Your man Johnny Wiseau.
I agree totally with
Who's
you.
Johnny Wiseau?
The Room.
The Room. I did not hit her.
Oh, yeah.
I did not hit her.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
That guy, he just doesn't fit in. With
No,
life.
he's like a giant cockroach wearing a human skin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Except
That's
apparently
what
he's like a
he is.
multi-millionaire as well. He just has loads of houses everywhere and all
he
this mad money that people
I'm
don't
from
know
New
about.
Orleans. The big
I'm from New Orleans. It's a big easy.
Yeah. He's like, I'm true American man.
He's a freak, like. So there were the 2 I had. It was like, he stands out. God bless him.
Oh, and did you have any of these kind of standout Tom similar type characters?
I was trying to think. You pulled this question on us a bit late, and I was trying to rack my brain. I'm like, come on, is it Mr. Popo in Dragon Ball Z?
Oh, Popo.
Popo.
Yeah.
He just dicked about. He wasn't too important. He just hung out with Cammy, and he just every Popo.
Hey, he's like a caterer of Cammy's house.
Yeah, and he was always, you know, just weird.
No.
Yeah. And then you mentioned as well the wand from Skyrim.
The Jabberwock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just go around
What's
turn.
it? Is it called the Jabberwock?
I think it is. Yeah, it's the Jabberwock.
Jabberwock.
And you do some bullshit drinking mission that is absolutely. It's definitely the best mission in all of Skyrim. And then you get this wand if you do it right, and you can just turn people into like a bunch of flowers and stuff. And like for a game about fucking fighting dragons and trolls and all this nonsense, then you can just turn the lad into a lemon and run off like it's pure nonsense.
You're done. I liked your other one. I'm stealing it on you here by saying it, but the hand in Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, the giant white hand.
That makes no sense. Like, who came up with that idea? That was the boss. That's who you have to fight.
You fight some hand, he's just poking you.
Yeah,
He
just
throw you off like absolutely mad. I think the train man in the Matrix just doesn't fit right. Like, what's that all about? Like, I know they try to explain it as best they can. But
So which guy was he?
like when you're trying to hack into the Matrix, or you want to be like a program, you don't want to die, so you go back to the Matrix. You have to go through the train man, and he's like this homeless looking dude.
Oh yeah.
But he's the god in his little train thing, and he beats up Neo because I'm god here or whatever. Because that's how, you know, you see programs are like Sati is supposed to be killed, but her parents like buy a price of the Merovingian to hire the train man to hack them back into the Matrix, which means he brought Agent Smith back in logically, but that doesn't fucking make sense anyway because Matrix 2 and 3 are shite. But yeah, I thought he was one. Q, like I said in Star Trek, definitely another one. I was trying to think what were some other just kind of like universe breaking characters. I mean, if you think too hard and long about it, a lot of the Harry Potter stuff doesn't really stand up to scrutiny.
Don't scratch too hard at that.
Like some of the stuff Dumbledore be doing and that kind of thing, like what? Or especially in the movies where they can just like, I think, was it Lupin starts opening doors with his hands without a wand.
Oh yeah, like they say that not using a wand is some of the hardest magic going. And you still have to say the words, definitely, but boys just be flicking a wrist and doing shit in there the whole time.
Yeah, the movies don't really kind of make sense too much. The G-Man in Half-Life, don't know if anyone ever played them games, just turns up at the end. He's just this man in a suit who can pause time, and he just walks in and be like, oh, hey, Gordon, and then walks off and they never explain what the hell it is. It's kind of like Tom. Just a bit more sinister, like, yeah, it's a bit mad. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Deggy, do you have any?
Maybe one that always got me was Brock in Pokemon, right? You know, gym leaders. You know, gym leaders like fucking top class Pokemon trainers. And Brock loses one battle and decides he's gonna fucking follow this dude. You know what I mean? Like, I would have thought that you have to hold yourself to a higher esteem to be a gym leader than to just, like, you know, lose one go and then fuck off and follow this. That's it.
Oh,
That's it.
dude,
It's over.
don't question me on Pokemon, Lord. Like, I mean, don't you remember? Brock's dad is the one who trains Ash's Pikachu with a watermill to beat his Onix, and then Brock doesn't have to look after the rest of his brothers and sisters because his dad comes out of retirement and takes over the fucking gym. Dude, that's like the 5th episode.
Ah, bro, I'm sorry. It's been so long, Ross. I don't keep up with it, man. I don't keep
Get
up.
on it. The Indigo League is on Netflix. Get on it.
It's been lost in the annals of my memory, so it has. That's just how I remember.
Jesus.
But there you go. I've been put to the sword on that, to be fair.
On this podcast, we have a word for people like you.
Yeah, right. I'm not coming back.
Filthy casual.
Filthy casual.
Filthy casual. I'm a Pokemon filthy casual, not Lord of the Rings filthy casual.
No, not at all. Anyway, good stuff, lads. I think there's nothing else. Any hot takes?
I only thought of it now, but just they finished the chapter with a song to call Tom Bombadil with. Like, if that's not the weirdest thing you've heard, I don't know what it is.
Wait till you see the next chapter.
Like,
Very convenient, you say. He doesn't call it when he's on the side of Mount Doom. Like, he doesn't start saying, Tom Bombadil.
yeah. Come and help us now. Come on, you.
Talk about a Chekhov's gun, like, you fucking hell. Imagine them, Merry and Pippin getting caught by the Uruk-hai. Oh,
Yeah.
you
On,
boys
Tom.
are fucked now. Wait till you hear this.
Oh, that would be class, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Tom just runs around the corner with fucking...
big yellow boots.
A lot of lilies on the plate.
Yeah, pots and pans.
Yeah.
Anyway.
like Sam's speciality, fucking bonking the lads.
Yeah. Right. I think that's everything then, lads. So that's everything from me. Owen, say goodbye.
Goodbye, lads. Goodbye.
Ocean, say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
And Daggy.
Bye bye.
Keep going. Do more.
Me.
What
Do
are
you ever
doing?
see that? Do you ever see that video? It's in Scotland, and it's a bus driver, and he's spinning this mad bitch. She's on it. She's like a mad old woman. And she goes up to him, and she just goes bye, and he goes, or she goes bye bye bus driver, and he goes bye, and she goes bye, and he goes bye, and she goes bye.
No.
You never seen that? No, I'll send it to you.
No, but I feel like I have now, I suppose. Right, that's everything. Right, go on. See you
Right,
next
good
week.
luck.
Bye. Good luck. Fuck off. Go on.